Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lex, in case you can't tell from the name. AyeItsLex's library. Last year was definitely my peak in reading so far. I read 13 books out of my 10 book goal. And while throughout this year I might upload a couple reviews about those books that I read last year, today I'm going to tell you what those books were. So the first book I read last year was Scythe by Schusterman. Kind of a buddy read with my fiance, even though she read it first and then I read it after her. But it was pretty good. I really liked it. It was very much a page turner, and it is one of the trilogies that I started last year that I mentioned in my previous video, that I started the trilogy and I didn't finish it because I thought, oh, I'll just read another book. And then I'll read another one. And I'll start these trilogies and then I'll finish them later. Not a very good idea. Because now I'm not really that into YA as much. So we'll see if I ever do finish this series. But it was pretty good. I don't remember. Okay, let me see. I gave it 4 stars. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. So, the second book I read last year was also a trilogy, A Darker Shade of Magic, which I actually did start reading A Gathering of Shadows just this week. So I am going to finish the trilogy finally. But this one was really good. It was really amazing. I already did a review on this one. I also did a review on Scythe if you look at my previous videos. But I also did a review on this one where I told everyone how amazing this book was. 10 out of 10. Even though we only get 5 stars, 10 out of 10. I absolutely love the character of Lila. She's amazing. She's definitely my favorite character, even though she's not the main character. Kella's okay. He's cool. But I'm not really a fan of straight romances in books, and I'm pretty sure they're setting up Lila and Kel to be a relationship. So, not super thrilled about that, but I love Lila, so anything she does is fine. And I'll also link my reviews to both of these books in the description box. The third book I read last year was also the beginning of a trilogy, Captive Prince. Really good. Definitely R-rated, so don't read it if you're under 18. Unless you're allowed to. I don't really care. Although I'm pretty sure that the main romance doesn't really begin until the second book. I will be reading that one soon. But it was pretty good. I think I gave it 4 out of 5. Honestly, I really like the cover that they have on Goodreads a lot better than this cover, but it's okay. It's also very gay. MLM. So, and it's romance. The fourth book I read last year, well, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, is the book of the Ancestor trilogy. My favorite trilogy ever in my entire life. I will definitely be making a review video about the series. I'm not sure if I want to do a review per book or just review the whole series altogether. We'll see. And you may notice this is a trilogy, but I said this is books 4, 5, 6, and 7. How is that possible? Because there's actually 2 short stories. There's one in between Red Sister and Gray Sister that I didn't read because I didn't know it existed until way after I read the series. And then there's also one between Gray Sister and Holy Sister, and I read that one, so that counts as another book that I read last year. This is a series about lesbian assassin nuns. Okay, lesbian is a very specific term. They're actually, most of them are bisexual, I think. The main character, Nona, is badass. Book number 8, Black Iris, is a book that I started a long time ago, and just never got around to reading it. It was kind of boring, and then I was like, you know what, let me just get it over with, let me just finish it, and I did, and it's freaking phenomenal. It's absolutely amazing. I would say only read it if you like the show Euphoria. This might be a good book to read. It's pretty, It's about the main character, Lainey, has borderline personality disorder, and she it's just her life, like what happened, like it goes in between, like POVs between the past and the present, but it's really good. I'm not super much of a fan of like romance novels that much because of the fact that they're all the same. Like, girl meets girl, they're not exactly happy about each other. They slowly fall in love. There's this conflict towards the end. 10 pages later, happily ever after. I'm very much a fan of angst, so put more angst in romance novels and I will be your girl. But yeah, this was really good though. I mean, I do like romance novels because of the romance, of course. You know, I'm a sucker for like rom-com movies and stuff like that. So I definitely did enjoy this book. I think so. I rated it 4 stars. I did mainly listen to the audiobook because I was driving a lot during the time I was reading this book, which made it a lot easier to finish because I'm a slow reader. But yeah, it's basically just a fake dating relationship to true love. And it was really cute. It had a lot of cute moments. And it takes place during the holidays. So if you need a book to read during like Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, all 3 of them are in here, I think. Maybe not Thanksgiving. Maybe it's just Christmas and New Year's. I don't know. I read this a while ago. But yeah, it was pretty good. The next book I read, so by the time I finished Written in the Stars, it was already August, so I was like, okay, so it's time for a Halloween novel, basically. And I picked up The Haunting of Hill House, which was pretty good. I obviously picked it up because I heard it was gay, well, lesbian, I heard it was like lesbian, and because of the show, I wanted something creepy, you know. It was creepy in the sense of like kind of like a haunted house, obviously, but like it wasn't really that scary. It was more of like kind of just like a creep factor, and especially because it has an unreliable narrator, which was really interesting. I really enjoyed that. Um, but yeah, and then also it is very heavily coded in lesbianism because Eleanor and Theodora definitely have something going on. They definitely have something going on, but obviously nothing is explicitly stated. But yeah, I mean it's a pretty short book, but it took me a month to read it because I just wasn't really all that interested. It wasn't really all that great. I rated it 4 stars, so like it was still good, but it wasn't like amazing. So the next book that I read was Satisfaction Guaranteed. I was kind of in the mood for like more romance novels, as you can tell, because I read Written in the Stars and then a short Halloween book and then this one. So this one was really good. I rated it 5 stars, and I'm not generous with those. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to be making a review video to this one. I am going to be making a review video for the Book of the Ancestor trilogy. This novel, it's about this girl who inherits a sex shop, and then the person she inherited it from has a niece, Cade, who is kind of roped into doing all the finances to save the sex shop, basically. And then they just have to run a sex shop together, and it's really cute. And then since it was time for Halloween, I decided to read Into the Drowning Deep, which is supposed to be a horror lesbian novel, kind of. I liked how terrifying the sirens were. I liked all the characters and their reactions and what happened to them, and it was definitely like a good horror, especially given the mockumentary aspect. I just did not like the ending. It was not good. And I did say it was a lesbian horror. It's not like a lesbian horror. There's like one character who's bisexual and then one character who's a lesbian, and then they end up together. So that's fun. I like that. But yeah, not a fan of the ending. Knocked it down a whole star. And then the last book I read last year was also from Mark Lawrence, who was the author of the Book of the Ancestor trilogy, and it's The Girl in the Stars, which takes place in the same world as the Book of the Ancestor trilogy. The Girl in the Stars is the first book of the Ice. I have not read the second one yet, and I will not read it until it is out in mass market paperback, and then I will not read the third one even when it comes out in hardcover, because I want mass market paperback. I love mass market paperback so much. It's my favorite type of book is mass market paperback. But yeah, this one was pretty good. I didn't really care too much for it. I mean, first of all, there's no gays. I mean, there is one minor character who is gay, but there's no lesbians. There's no lesbians at all. And that makes me really upset. However, I do like the character of Thurin. I think he's really cool. And I want him and Yaz to get together. So, I think that's where they're going. I think that's where this is headed. I don't know. But it was a good book. I liked going back to the same world as the Book of the Ancestor trilogy with all the magic, like magic bloodlines and stuff. I also heard that the end of the second book kind of brings us back to the original trilogy, so that makes me really excited. So that's why I was like, I have to finish this book, because it took me forever to read it, because I read a good amount and then I was kind of like stuck for a really long time. I just could not finish it until finally it was New Year's and I was like, I have to finish this book, and I did. I only had like 20 pages left, but I was just stuck for the longest time. I don't know why. It just didn't really interest me as much. I don't know, like maybe I'm just not that interested in the story that they're telling. I'm not really interested. But I do like the magic, and I do like the twists and turns, and I do like all the characters. So I did stick around for the characters and to find out what happens. I rated this 3 stars, which I might be generous with 4-star ratings, and I hardly rate books 5 stars. So you know that if I rate a book 3 stars, yeah, it's not good. I mean, it was good-ish, but I personally didn't really enjoy it that much. I just kind of didn't really see where the whole story was going. I was just like, okay. It's just a lot to take in. I feel like it's kind of like maybe Mark Lawrence had like all these ideas for this series and then just kind of like kept throwing in like different like beginners for these ideas. I don't know. I mean, obviously it will all come together in the end. It always does. But it was kind of just like a lot. And it didn't really, it was pretty good. Not really my vibe. But I am going to read the second book. And those are all the books that I read in 2021. If you read any of them as well, let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed them, if you didn't enjoy them, again, let me know. If you read some other books, let me know in the comments. You know, maybe there's something on my TBR. But out of all the 13 books that I read last year, I would say that my top favorites were the Book of the Ancestor trilogy. I love this trilogy so much. It is my life, basically. I absolutely adore it. And A Darker Shade of Magic, which I did a whole like 12-minute long video about this book, so that's how you know I loved it so much. But my top favorite, even out of the Book of the Ancestor trilogy, is Grey Sister and Darker Shade of Magic. My top 2 favorite books, right here. I also think it's really interesting that there actually is a color aesthetic to all of the books that I read last year. Like, 1 second. First book, second book, third book, fourth book, and fifth book. What do they all have in common? They're red. I don't even know if you can see this one. Yeah, it's red. They're all like red and cream colored, or red and white. I think that's really cool. And then after we finish off with the red books, we have purple, bluish, purplish, bluish books. So it's kind of like a color aesthetic, which I think is really cool. Those are all of my 2021 reads, and my next video is going to be my TBR for 2022, so stick around for that. Like this video, comment, subscribe if you like my content, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye!